Hello, friends. Welcome back to Saturday Evenings Posted Mostly Presents with me, your host, Trevor Stewart 1308, and we are here with the ASOC Prod Cat. Hi, Cat.
Hello.
Normally today would be breakfast with the Kush Gang, who is in the chat. Hi, Kingsways, Kush Gang. Also, hi, Just Me Crystal. Much love, y'all. But like an idiot, like a stoner, I got really high last night at Frosty Fridays and left my whole bag of stuff up there, including what I had gotten for breakfast with the Kush Gang this morning. So hopefully it is still up there when I go back up there this afternoon. It probably will be, but the problems with being a stoner. Right, good times, good times. Struggle is real, man. The stone struggle is real. Good to see you in the chat, Kush Gang, Kingsways. It was good to catch up with you last night too. Let's do the ad read real quick because we aren't doing breakfast with the Kush Gang. Today's pre-rolls will be brought to you by The Hidden Leaf, downtown Charlottesville, 105 West Main Street. On the downtown mall above the brick, Suite 200, a great place to go with some great buds to find some great buds. A bud, and the only thing better than their bud is their customer service. Also, they have the lowest prices in town, according to my own personally highly biased research, by which I mean I was incredibly high when I did my personally biased research. Don't forget to check the website for times and events. The website is thehiddenleafcville.com. That's thehiddenleaf, CVILLE, all one word.com. Where you can find events such as Frosty Fridays, where you can find our other two sponsors. Kush Gang, purveyor of very fine edibles and drinkables, who is also findable on Instagram. But I don't have that in front of me. Kingsways, would you be kind enough to drop an Instagram, oh, here it is. At KG Snacks 434. Instagram at KG Snacks 434. Too much light there. You can't quite see it. There it is. Yeah. I've been meaning to find a way to get that to get that information in the ad read. And I will do better next time. As the more iterations of mentioning that I go through, the more seamless it will get integrated. And Firehouse, where there's smoke, there's Firehouse. I am spacing on the next step. Oh, yes.
Political discussion?
Political discussion, disclaimers. We will be talking about some political topics today, more than likely, and probably some sensitive topics. So we would like to say that any opinions you hear expressed herein belong to the expressor of the opinion, ourselves, the channel, and or the parent company, but do not necessarily belong to any of our sponsors, including Hidden Leaf, Kush Gang, and Firehouse. Although Kingsways is in the chat and may express some of his own opinions and we respect his opinions. What is this now?
Something that I found on Reddit.
Ice conditions in town. According to some community supporting meteorologists, there's icy conditions for the next 21 days at the Sleep Inn on 5th Street. Let your friends know that the ice might spread to the downtown mall in particular over the next few weeks, and remind them to stay off the street to not slip and fall. Also, make sure to honk at night when passing by to make sure people in the area are aware of the hazard and don't slip. That would be the Sleep Inn on 5th Street in Charlottesville.
Icy conditions forecast for the next 21 days.
Including downtown.
Uh-huh. I am very grateful for the local meteorologist to let us know.
I am too. Definitely, if you're listening in the area, let friends, relatives, loved ones, and general people who look like they might be in danger of slipping and falling on the ice know.
Yep.
Thank you for sharing that, and I will also be sharing that around. All right, that is good to know.
Not what we originally intended to lead off with, but
No,
I think
but
it's a
that's
hell of a
fine.
one.
Wet cat.
Fluffy cat.
Very wet cat.
I took a sip of tea and I looked up to see nothing but fuzz in the camera all of a sudden.
Yes. Are we is this what we're doing right now?
How else are we going to get
All right.
dry? We're going to rub all of the water off on you. Oh, that baby has gotten so big.
Yep. This is what we're doing.
Yes, this is what we're doing.
And he's looking at me like, yeah, this is what we're doing. Of course this is what what we're doing. Why aren't both hands petting me right now?
As Deadpan's like stretching in the background, like, oh, okay, fine, I'll leave. Let you two be alone.
This is just something he does with me. He this is a spot he likes to sit.
You know, with the one angle, you can see him. But the other one, all you can see is this vague fur boa draped over an arm and the occasional, what could be an ear peeking up into the frame. But otherwise, you're sitting there arranged with this fur boa.
I mean, that is exactly what he is right now, is a fur boa. Don't give me that look. Yeah, that's okay.
Oh dear, dear, dear.
Well, stream got hijacked by a cat there for a minute. So now let's move on to the first story that we're going to cover today. And this is in High Point, North Carolina.
Yes, it is.
Argument over turkey leads to shooting at grocery store, police say.
Yeah, it did.
And it's a picture of a Food Lion.
Because that's where it happened.
Yeah.
Let's start
But
Thanksgiving Week off.
that's a parking lot in Richmond.
Yeah, I know. I know.
Okay. High Point, North Carolina. WBTV Gray News. An argument over a turkey led a man to being shot at a Food Lion in North Carolina, according to the authorities. The shooting happened on Thursday just after 6 p.m. at the Food Lion on North Main Street in High Point. High Point police said that before the shooting, one man got into an argument over a turkey with a Food Lion employee. During the argument, another man allegedly stepped in and started to argue with the first man. Following the argument, one of the men walked outside to get a gun. When he did, the other man also went out of the store. Police said that once outside, the two men shot at each other and the one was hit in the arm. Both men were still at the Food Lion when police got there. The one who shot was taken. The one who got shot was taken to the hospital. Not immediately clear if either of the men were arrested, although the police said that one was interviewed by detectives.
All right.
Now,
So we had a duel over a turkey.
yeah, we have a duel over a turkey, but like dueling is illegal.
Dueling
Somebody
is illegal.
did something illegal there. You cannot shoot another person. Unless
You're
your
not
name's
supposed to.
Dick Cheney, you cannot shoot another person.
I'm not sure if they realized it was a duel or if they just decided to chalk it up to something like mutual combat. But yeah, either way, at the very least, it
I
should have been
mean,
reckless discharge of a firearm.
reckless discharge of a firearm, and then malicious wounding. I think that falls under malicious wounding
I would say
with a
so.
deadly weapon.
Yes.
I mean, yes, both parties should get charged with something. Sucks to get shot and then charged, but like, although the guy who shot second, whoever shot second, that's kind of a self-defense thing at that point.
I mean, yes, but also
Also,
no.
also though, getting shot anywhere above the knee is attempted murder, isn't it?
Now that one I can't say because that's more of a locality thing.
Apparently, legally, the safest place to shoot a person is below the knee. Apparently. I'm not certain about this.
Eh,
But it's the one where you're least likely to get attempted murder or something like that.
fair. But the fact that you had one man leave the store to get a gun, he got it, and the other one came out and already had it. So at that point, it does not matter who shot first. They both left the store with the intent to use
A gun.
deadly force.
Okay. Okay.
Then also you just have I wonder if there is like store security footage of the argument beforehand. Like you've got guy A getting upset and he's in an argument with an employee about this frozen turkey.
Right.
Probably being told that it's only going to cost, he's only going to get it at, 15 or 29 cents a pound if he buys X amount of groceries
Groceries
along with
or
it.
Or maybe he's not like an MVP member, so he doesn't get whatever deal they're supposed to be.
Or he's upset because they're all frozen and he wanted a fresh turkey.
No,
Who knows?
who knows?
But he's having this argument and someone else steps in. And as an employee, your first thought is, oh no. And then it's okay, maybe this other person is going to be able to help calm this down. No, no, they are not calming it down. Where's
Oh,
my
this is
manager?
escalating. Oh, crap. This is getting bad. Ah, crap. Somebody got shot.
Wrong accent, but yes.
I feel like that's the accent we all hear in our head when things start going bad like that. Ah, crap.
But yeah, no. No. So I doubt we're going to hear very much more on that, but
Okay.
Thanksgiving is a high stress time of year, so
It is. It is.
Hide from warnings for ice. Please, please, please do not engage in altercations at the grocery store. It only makes it harder for the rest of us to check out.
Right? Oh, that.
Save that for somewhere else.
Right.
The City Council is considering a bill that would legalize bodega cats. If passed, the law would update the city's health code.
All right, let's start that again. I didn't realize that was just going to go. Speaking of cats.
Yep.
The City Council is considering a bill that would legalize bodega cats. If passed, the law would update the city's health code to allow cats in bodegas and establish a free vaccination program for cats that are registered to the shops. The legislation says cats keep bodegas clean by fending off rats, while also serving as an important part of New York City culture.
Yep. Yes, they do. Mm-hmm. Well, that's a cute bit of news.
It is. It is. And I thought, to go along with all the other things, we needed that.
I feel like, yeah, that was cute. All right. And back into the not so cute.
Oh, definitely. Unfortunately, I'm sorry.
Oh, it's okay. So, false alarm strikes America's deadliest volcano that appeared as strange tremors for 72 hours.
Yeah.
Washington's Mount Rainier has been sending up a flurry of strange signals for days, briefly raising concern that something inside the volcano might be shifting. Oh no, the dragon is waking up. The towering stratovolcano looms over more than 3.3 million people across the Seattle-Tacoma metro area, threatening to cripple entire communities with ashfall flooding and catastrophic mud flows if it erupts. Since Saturday, instruments on Mount Rainier have picked up what look like constant vibrations beneath the surface, thousands of tiny, tremor-like bursts blending into one another. The unusual seismic rumblings were detected by the Pacific Northwest Seismic Network, PNSN. PNSN. Where the seismometers on Mount Rainier recorded 3 straight days of persistent high-energy signals across the volcano's west flank. At first glance, the pattern resembled a volcanic tremor, a kind of non-stop hum or roar that forms when magma, hot water, or gas is moving around inside the volcano. It's got gas.
It's got gas. Anybody got a, dump truckload of Pepsid?
Right?
Tums?
Beano?
Oh yeah, Beano. Beano would be good.
Later analysis, however, suggested that ice buildup on one of the seismic stations may have distorted the readings, creating the appearance of relentless tremor-like noise. This highlighted how challenging it can be to monitor heavily glaciated mountains like Rainier, and how even false alarms serve as a reminder of the volcano's very real hazards. Data showing what appeared to be tremors can also be the result of wind buffering a tower, rockfall, and snow sloughing, and equipment malfunctions. I don't think
Can we
they
go
mean
back to just
buffering,
blaming it on ice?
right? I don't think they mean buffering. I think they mean buffeting.
Yes, I think you're correct.
That is an interesting one. Because it really does, like, to some degree, it seems like a terrible idea to build close enough to an active volcano or semi-active volcano.
I mean, it is a bad idea to build where there are tornadoes, where the hurricanes reach you, where there's earthquakes a lot by the volcanoes, where you're most likely to have a typhoon or a tsunami,
I
or
mean,
where, there is no water for you to drink. And where do humans choose to build?
yeah, exactly. Wait, yeah. Floodplains. Build in floodplains. It's.
Like,
I just find it. I mean, part of it is because other humans were taking up all the safe places.
true. That was the original reason.
But now it's just like because we're idiots.
Oh, definitely. There's a big part of that. But there's also the whole, oh, it looks like they're having fun over there. I think we'll move in and take over because, we have the resources because we spent all our time living in this safe place, and we're going to take over and make that prettier now.
Yeah.
Please see wildfires and landslides galore in parts of the California coastline that were.
Oh, yeah. That's definitely, yeah.
But yeah, no, because humans have the desire and the need to go live someplace weird.
You know, okay, we can't seem to help it.
No. There is no absolute reason, no need for anybody to go live in the Arctic.
You
And we have
say that.
polar research stations.
Well, okay, see, polar research stations make sense.
It does. But then I see people on various social media that are taking holidays to
Okay, see,
places like that. And it's like, yeah, okay. You're not there to research stuff. You're there because you want to say you were there. There's no need to be there.
right?
Humans do
I
weird
also
stuff.
understand the traveling there for fun. It's the choosing to live there. That's sort of where it's like, okay, we really are idiots.
And I'm not talking about Arctic as in, the northern reaches of like Canada or Alaska where you actually still have trees and something. I mean specifically from, the cartoon edition of The North Pole, where there is literally nothing but ice.
The
We don't need
Arctic
to live
Circle.
there.
No, we don't. But
But we do. We choose to. Well, other people choose to. I choose not to.
I've thought about it. Not gonna lie. I've thought about moving that far north. I just hate hot weather enough that, like...
I think if you went that far north, the Peanut Gallery might opt to go with you.
Yeah. All right. Next story is an interesting one.
Yes.
NASA astronaut's wife admits to lying about being victim of first crime committed in space.
Oh, yeah.
A woman has pleaded guilty. Has pled
Could be
guilty.
pled.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
what I thought. A woman has
It
pled
should be.
guilty to fabricating her estranged astronaut wife illegally accessed her bank account from space. Summer Warden, 50, faces up to 5 years in prison and a fine of up to $250,000 after she lied to federal agents and claimed to be the first victim of a crime committed beyond Earth. The former Air Force intelligence officer has been through a year of legal disputes with her ex-wife, Anne McClain, a NASA astronaut and Iraq war veteran. She had falsely claimed that McClain, while on the International Space Station in 2019, had guessed her password and accessed her bank account in January of that year, according to the Southern District of Texas U.S. Attorney's Office. Warden pled guilty on Thursday to 2 counts of lying to law enforcement. The damning accusation sparked an investigation from FTC and NASA's Inspector General. Okay.
On the one hand, this is very sad that someone's gonna go to that level of lying. But we see that a lot here. On the other hand, what would ordinarily be a civil matter, maybe, well, not civil, but it would be wrapped up in family court stuff and small criminal court down here on Earth, all of a sudden requires NASA and the FCC to get involved.
Well, because the nature of the crime could have put it, the nature of the place of the crime, the original accused crime, could have put that out of jurisdiction of anybody. There's no... I don't think there's any governing body for the ISS. Just like there's no governing body for international waters. So are we going to start getting spam calls from space? See, that's what I think this is leading to. Hi, we've been trying to reach you about your satellite's extended warranty.
All right, side note. Peanut Gallery likes to play this space game. And I'm drawing a complete blank on what it is right this second.
it's the Bethesda.
Right. He likes playing that. There is legit a ship that wanders around trying to sell you extended spaceship warranties that you can encounter, and they will hail you and bother you repeatedly trying to sell you spaceship insurance.
I love that. I both love and hate that.
There are tracks where you can get away with blowing up the insurance salesman too.
I also love that.
Yes. It's a very slow space game, but it's a fun one to watch occasionally.
Yeah. So, so back to this.
Yes.
So Warden had given her wife access to the accounts in 2015,
Yeah.
because they had shared finances.
Uh-huh.
And what they accuse her of lying about is when she opened her bank's account and when she would have changed her password.
Mm-mm.
Oh, there's a kid involved. Oof.
And from what the accused was saying was, we shared finances, we shared this account, and we were using this money specifically to pay for the child's needs.
Okay.
She never said, don't use the account.
Okay. So some of this could be vengeful acts. Some of this could be wanting to make something bigger than it needed to be. Yeah.
On the
Uh,
first read, it came across very much as, now that she's been caught and the evidence is coming out, that it feels very much like vengeful acts to cause enough disruption to make custody easier to deal with,
yeah.
and to set up for getting a larger alimony payout, basically. Especially
So
because when
if
when she
it's
was
for all these mundane reasons, that
yeah.
means she didn't think about the fact that by accusing her ex-wife of doing it when she did, she was gonna get big players involved.
No, I don't think she thought that part through.
Again, you gotta imagine there are gonna be some big players involved because of the nature of where that accused crime took place.
I think honestly, the thought was, she's going to be on the space station at this point. I'm not going to have actual contact with her. So, you know, she's not here to do anything court wise. So I'm going to do this so when she gets back, this is waiting for her because she's stuck someplace that has no access to these things.
Okay, okay.
The thought of, they've gone on vacation, so I can do all this stuff before they get back. And then when they get home, not taking into account that, the vacation was not necessarily a vacation, and it was going to be more extensively investigated because of where that trip was.
That whole thing blew up in her face worse than the ooh, too soon to make a challenger joke.
Probably, but you could say that it smells as bad as the one that wore a diaper.
Oh, there's that too.
Yes.
But yeah, this is not a good look. Not a good
No,
look.
it's not a good look.
All right, moving on to the next one because we have got a lot to get through.
We do. But we're going fairly decently.
We are. NPR can use federal funds while lawsuit against Trump's public media cuts continues.
Yeah.
Well, that's encouraging. National Public Radio reached a settlement on Monday that allows it to continue supporting its network of member stations while it sues to stop an executive order that cut off federal funding for public broadcasting. Under the new settlement, NPR and the Corporation for Public Broadcasting agreed that the Trump administration's May 2025 executive order forbidding CPB from directly or indirectly funding public broadcasting is unconstitutional, and that CPB will not implement or enforce it unless ordered by a court. NPR will now receive already appropriated funds to maintain its public radio distribution network while a lawsuit directly against the executive order proceeds. While we entered into this dispute with CPB reluctantly, we're glad to resolve it in a way that enables us to continue to provide for the stability of public radio satellite system, offer immediate and direct support to public radio stations across the country, and proceed with our strong and substantive claims against this illegal and unconstitutional executive order, said Catherine Marr, President and CEO of NPR. We look forward to our day in court in December. Well, that is pretty neat. That's pretty neat.
Yeah.
That's good to hear. Been worried about that. I mean, I have faith in NPR listeners to support NPR. I have faith in I have faith in the community. But I also am, I worry that any cut in funding could cut very important services that public broadcasting provides, especially for more rural, smaller communities, less affluent communities. So.
Yep.
That's good.
So, and I don't know if you mentioned it or if you read it, but they're going to be able to keep their funding going until what, July of next year?
Okay, that's also good.
Because that's how long their appropriation was budgeted for. So,
okay.
As long as it's an ongoing court case, they've got till July.
And there ain't no way this is getting solved before July.
More likely not.
Now, after that, we'll have to see what happens. But,
yeah. Oh, yes, Indiana.
So, moving on to the great state of Indiana.
It is.
After you.
This is another article written by the author that I found several months ago, who puts all of the actual facts in, but is extremely tongue-in-cheek and sarcastic about the delivery of said facts. So Get ready to enjoy the read.
Story by Drew Curtis. Indiana sheriff bans teen slang in schools, declares victory over teenage linguistic evolution. Disclaimer, this article is based on actual news from the real world. Honestly, however, it has been sprinkled with a healthy dose of satire. I like this guy already. We've read other stuff from him, I believe.
Yep, we have. That's why I included this one.
from Tippecanoe County. And it actually isn't easy to say. Tippecanoe County. From Tippecanoe County in Indiana, the Tippecanoe County Sheriff's Office has declared that the war on drugs is over and has been replaced with a war on knowing what the hell kids are talking about. School resource officers entered a local elementary school on Wednesday armed with citation pads and what witnesses described as boomer confidence to enforce Ordinance 67, which entails issuing fake citations to kids for saying 67, a phrase elderly adults find confusing and therefore presumably criminal. 67.
Oh.
The ordinance bans 6-7. The phrase dictionary.com declared word of the year in what linguists are calling surrender to the inevitability of aging already. Sheriff's deputies issued tickets to students caught using the expression or performing its accompanying hand gesture, which resembles weighing invisible options. Officers admitted the gesture just looks like disrespect, though none of them could identify what was being disrespected or how. It is now against the law to use the words 6 and 7 unless using them in a math problem or someone's age. One officer explained to a classroom of students, none of whom had requested that particular clarification. Asked whether nearby Route 67 had been legally named, the deputy said the question was outside the scope of enforcement, which is cop speak for someone didn't think this through. One student asked if the rule applied during bingo. The officer's pause lasted long enough for the bell to ring. The ordinance was passed to keep parents sane during this time, according to the TSCO, though sanity seems like an odd benchmark for an agency that criminalized ambiguity. One deputy confirmed that the law was conceived during lunch after someone's teenager responded, "What do you want for dinner?" with 6-7. An interaction the department characterized as linguistic assault on clarity. They refused to address the question of whether or not unclear communication between teenagers and authority figures constitutes a new phenomenon or is possibly as old as human history itself. Students responded to the crackdown with full compliance, meaning they continued saying 6-7 over and over while racking up tickets. The citations carry no legal weight, which places them in the same enforcement category as most actual county ordinances. Sheriff's officials acknowledged the tickets were symbolic, a term they defined as, "We have an Instagram account now, and this seems like content to us." Ow. Ow. Shade shots fired. I am hit. Ow.
Hey, I thought it was worthwhile content.
The connection between symbolism and Instagram metrics was never established, but seemed deeply felt. I'm just saying.
Yep.
One student photographed holding a ticket appeared psychologically intact, possibly because growing up under adult governance builds resilience to arbitrary authority. Another student asked whether calculators could still display 6-7. The deputy froze, stared into the middle distance, and finally said, "Maybe." The calculator question has not been resolved. Legal scholars were not consulted because this is a sheriff's office in rural Indiana. The crackdown follows a pattern of police departments addressing general communication gaps by attempting to criminalize them. Asked if they considered the tradition. Sorry about that brief pause, folks. I apparently forgot to do up the baby gate.
Honestly, I'm just going with you. You used 6, 7 enough times to actually summon a small fry.
You know, must have done.
Oh well.
He wanted Deadpan to come play with him. He came in with the harness and coming to get the dog, and the dog is like, no,
Nope.
no. Uh,
It happens.
yeah. I need to remember to keep the baby gate closed at all times. That's what needs to happen. That's on me.
So now when we do our checklist to go along with Lens Cap and Mike, we're going to add Babygate to the list.
We need to, yeah. And actually, I think it needs to be paramount. Because that's... I need to not be having that happen.
Yeah. Well.
All right, back to the article. Where were we? The crackdown follows a pattern of police departments addressing general communication gaps by attempting to criminalize them. Asked if they considered the traditional approach of ignoring slang until it dies naturally, a spokesperson said that it wasn't consistent with department visibility goals. The visibility goals were not explained. They did not need to be. Millennial parents expressed concern, but then remembered that they said random for 6 years straight, and their parents didn't criminalize it. Gen X parents reportedly responded with the ordinance by saying 89, a reference no one in the room understood either, which seemed to diffuse tension. Boomer grandparents applauded the measure and suggested expanding it to include TikTok dances and referring to things as valid. The boomers were generally ignored and told to log off Facebook, as is tradition. That was a nice shot at the generations.
Yes, it was.
The phrase 6'7" originates from online culture and essentially means nothing, which places it in the same semantic category as most online content produced after 2019. It's pronounced 6'7", not 67. A footnote in pronunciation guide that now exists in official police training literature, which represents either dedication to craft or evidence of institutional collapse. Deputies are now required to attend a 4-hour seminar on identifying prohibited slang through the curriculum was reportedly outdated before the first session concluded. The ordinance does not address Sendi, another term that has melded with 6-7 to create linguists describe as compounding semantic emptiness. When informed that new slang would inevitably replace the banned phrases, the TSCO said they were prepared to stay vigilant, which is the department code for "we'll find out about it 3 months too late after it peaks, take inappropriate action, and get roasted in the media for it." I'm just saying, like, this whole thing seems like a bunch of skibbity to me.
Figured you'd have something to say about that. Oh.
Seriously, this next generation is going to have more ways of saying nothing than anybody.
Mm-hmm. My brother-in-law is a huge fan of 6-7. He has got his youngest child saying it. The 4-year-old? 5-year-old? I forget how old he is now. His next youngest child is so over the phrase and wishes that his little brother and father would please
Just
stop.
Stop saying 6-7.
So, of course, I sent him this article to help him understand where he is in all of this. My brother-in-law appreciated it quite greatly.
I'm sure he did. I'm sure he did.
And then last night, his mother hopped into the family group chat. So we've got Grandma in the group chat asking, "Can someone please explain this to me?"
I do think linguistically, I think what it says about culture is interesting. The fact that 6-7 and skibbity and sendy, all of these things are are ways of saying nothing. And, and I think it says something very interesting about the culture, about society. I think it shows an emptiness of I mean, I feel like the more words you have for something, the more it plays a role in your culture. Like, that's just sort of a generally accepted theory.
Like having, 47 different words for different types of snow.
Right.
And you live in a place with snow.
Or Klingons don't have a word for fluffy.
So having a whole bunch of words that effectively are nothing shows a
An
whole bunch of nothing.
emptiness. Yeah, that is one of the sort of uniting factors for this generation is nothingness, emptiness.
I mean, there's that. My personal view is more along the lines of they mean nothing to illustrate the fact that people are getting bent out of shape
Over
about
nothing.
nothing so much of the time.
I think
I'm going to make up a word and I'm going to use it, and it actually doesn't mean anything, and all the adults are going to be so upset because it sounds like it should be something, and it's not.
I like that. I mean, yeah, that explains what the emptiness, what the nothing is pretty well. It's not an existential sort of nihilism. It's a mirror to the world. It's holding up a mirror saying, look at what you're getting angry at.
Yeah.
It's a way of saying you're only as big as the things that make you angry.
Yeah.
You know.
Which personally, as a fan of the Neverending Story, I prefer the mirror over the nothing coming to get us all.
That is something that I found very that was something that I found to be very sort of real in a way, that nothing. I mean, in a greater sense, as I started learning about physics and the like, it became entropy, and it's sort of like, oh, the heat death of the universe. But
Yeah.
as I also became more philosophical, that nothing was much more of the nihilism that existential angst can lead to. It was, and that nothing, that, I was aware that nothing could be consuming, much like Artax falling in the swamp of despair. That was that emotional and intellectual nothingness inside. And that's why the Neverending Story was much more of a hopeful movie for me in that way, is that existential dread, and the issues like depression that I was battling at the time. That gave me hope that it could be overcome to some degree, like you could get there. I
mean,
I was of two people around that time. There was the part of me that saw the hope in the Neverending Story and really took part in being hopeful. And then there was another part of me that read Catcher in the Rye half a dozen times in a row in like a couple of years. And really was sort of falling into that bleak, nihilistic emptiness. That other side of the nothing. So, I'm really glad that, well, hopefully it's not that.
yes.
Bleak nothingness was not a good look. It didn't lead me anywhere good.
It isn't. It wasn't. And at least as far as the movie went, when you consider Bastion's situation and his dad and the people around him, it made sense that the nothing was what it was.
Yeah. Yeah. It did. It made a lot of sense.
Now, whether as little kids or young adults or whatever, anybody realized that right when they were watching the movie, I can't say. But I know a lot of people have realized it on rewatching it later as an adult.
Yeah. There's a lot about the story. That second movie was a hard watch. But there's a lot about the story and the movie that really touched on some deep things. And that's part of why, that's a large part of why it was such a classic. Why it is such a classic.
It's one of those things where I am glad that we have made it far enough that we can have a movie like Inside Out.
Yeah.
But to have to that lets you talk about things like that. But to get to Inside Out, we had to have things that were talked about in code, like the Neverending Story.
Yeah. It was it's a progression of how we got to where we are.
So, all of that being said,
And again, that is evolution of language.
it is. Oh, glory.
All right. The law will remain in effect until someone's kid says something even more annoying, which officials estimate will occur any minute now. The sheriff's office has scheduled a press conference to declare victory regardless of the outcome. Tickets will be archived in a filing cabinet next to the department's unused body camera footage and applications for community oversight.
Yeah, I forgot that last line was there.
The story is based... Oh, the tickets will be archived?
Yeah,
Yeah, that is...
I forgot that was there. That was definitely one of the more punchy.
Yeah. Yeah,
But
it
I am not
was.
too mad at who he's punching at, so
That was Indiana?
that was Indiana.
All right. Now we have Alabama.
Oh yeah. This is less fun.
After backlash, Alabama Public Television will keep paying for PBS. Hey, that's good.
That's good. It's the content is a little bit more frustrating and upsetting.
Okay. Then we're going to look at this picture of a sign that says Elmo is not the enemy of the people for a moment.
Oh yeah.
They say he's not the enemy of the people. But I remember when Elmo first hit TV. Oh, I remember. Only reason why Elmo is now beloved is because Barney. If there was something worse.
Yes. And that almost didn't happen once the Tickle Me Elmo hit the market.
I had a friend who we were playing Vampire the Masquerade together, and we were going to game conventions and stuff like that. And the secret that I am violently ticklish got out.
Oh no.
Oh yeah.
Oh.
So,
Emphasis on the violent.
oh yeah. I think I'd bloodied a couple of noses. Makes you wonder why people want to keep going. It's like, why would you want to keep...
Please see previous conversation about people living in places they don't belong.
Right? But, and it started to become canon in the game that my character was violently and dangerously ticklish. So, because it became a character trait, we decided to make a Tickle Me Vampire doll.
Oh no.
Yep. My friend made a doll that looked kind of like me, and I got a Tickle Me Elmo and took the Tickle Me box out the Elmo, and we
Oh
stuck it in the
no.
vampire doll.
So now you had a vampire that squeaks.
And vibrates,
Oh dear.
right?
At least it wasn't sparkly.
No, this was pre-sparkly vampires. And it
Sorry.
was worth it.
Oh,
Cause at the con, it was like I'm about to say some words that people just don't understand. It
That's
was
okay.
Malkavian level chaos in a Bruja body.
Oh yeah.
People won't get that. But what it was uh, you, I was a big fella back then. I mean, I'm not small now, and I've never been tall, but I was big. And the attempts to get me to thrash about and hurt people was amusing to these people. So,
Very Malkavian, yes.
well, yeah. So having the doll that did it for me. And my doll got tickled a lot that con. No euphemism.
Where's Lockpick when we need him to question that?
Right? It's a setup for him.
I know. We'll have to make note of that, and he'll have to come hunt this clip up to ask, what about a tickle doll?
Well, yeah.
So yes.
I actually probably have to take the VOD down. I probably can't leave this VOD up.
True, but you can go back to around 56.
Someone could clip it.
Yeah. You can go back to 56 and clip out that one small segment since you picked up reading where we'd left off.
Well, I mean, oh, no, I mean, I can't, not on the VOD. I can take that bit out for YouTube.
True, and
But I'm gonna
Lockpick
have to
can go
take the
hunt up
VOD
the rest
off.
of the video.
Yeah.
Lockpick can hunt that up. Yeah. But I did note that it happened right around minute 56. So that gives you a place to start looking.
I am gonna look real quick. Oh, that's what I wanna. How do I disable the VOD for this specific episode?
I don't know. You read, I'll try to figure that out.
Yeah, see if you can make it not keep this VOD. You should have the permissions to do that, I think.
I believe I do. I just need to figure out where I'm going, that's all.
All right. So, back to this one.
Yep.
Facing a public backlash, the commission that oversees Alabama public television on Tuesday voted to continue paying its contract with PBS, rejecting an effort, at least for now, to be the first state to cut ties with the broadcast giant because of politics and federal budget cuts. The Alabama Educational Television Commission voted without dissent to honor the contract with PBS that runs until July. The commission also voted to create a committee to explore the direction of Alabama Public Television. Motion to give the required 180-day non-renewal notice, the first step to cutting ties with PBS, failed for lack of a second. The decision means PBS programming, which includes programs such as Sesame Street, Daniel Tiger's Neighborhood, Antiques Roadshow, and PBS NewsHour, will remain on state channel at least for the immediate future. Two commission members last month had floated the idea of severing ties with PBS, citing federal budget cuts to public broadcasting and accusations by President DT and other conservatives of bias in news programs. The possibility of dropping PBS prompted a backlash from Alabama public television viewers and donors. I'd like to say at this moment that, I think a lot of politicians are starting to look at what a political life in post-Trump America might look like.
Mm-hmm.
I think, I've heard NPR say this a couple of times, and they've been as cagey about saying it as I have. BBC was a little more upfront about it.
Right.
But it's starting to look, the lame duck ness of this administration is starting to show. The cracks in power are starting to show. The cracks in the power structure are starting to show. And a lot of the people involved, a lot of the politicians are starting to look at that and go, this, there may actually have to be a post-Trump landscape, a post-Trump political climate. And we're not sure what that's going to look like. And, without Trump, and even now with Trump, a lot of constituents are starting to go, this is not what we wanted. And so a lot of politicians are starting to worry that they're gonna be answerable to their constituents over these next steps. I think a lot of people are going to be willing to be like, I think a lot of the Republican constituency is gonna be willing to be like, yeah, it was a time we were all doing things. Gosh. But if, if Republican politicians don't start listening to their constituency now, the constituency will hold that against them. And I think, there isn't a leader with a cult of personality like Trump that's going to be able to hold together the Trump Republican Party.
I hope so. I know that I've seen pictures of trucks apparently wandering through DC advertising Vance 28 MAGA without the dementia.
That's a cute thought, but terrifying. I don't think Vance has it.
I don't think he does either. But he's trying to go for it.
We believably... We don't actually believe, but believable accusations that the man had relations with a couch. are out there. And it's not like we okay, yeah, I believed it for a bit. I'm not gonna lie. I believed it for a bit. I really did believe that he probably did have relations with that couch.
Given the way that he has it, I've got to double check. I do have to double check some of my facts, but it does very much seem like he is trying to make himself a part of the reason to not release the files. It makes me think that maybe he did, but it wasn't the couch we were told it was. Because he's putting himself in places where if he had nothing to do with anything, he should not be. But he wants to be recognized as a person with as much I don't want to say charisma.
Clout.
With as much clout as those around him. And since he doesn't have it, he's trying to steal it in whatever way he can.
Well,
but clout chasing that particular set of documents is
not a great idea. Not a good look, dude. Not a good look, homie. I mean, not a good look. And although maybe it's like, see, I'm not into furniture. I'm into underage girls. Also, not a good look. Like, of the two,
furniture is more appropriate.
I'd rather be yeah. I'm not saying that I would want to be the couch doer, but, like, that would be better.
You know, again, that he appears to be clout chasing from an extremely wrong and inappropriate source.
Yeah. And so he doesn't have I don't think he has the personality to develop the cult of personality. And I don't think there is anyone on that side who can do that. And so I really do, like, that's why I think these PBS things are gonna, why funding's gonna come back to PBS, why these places are gonna keep funding the Public Broadcasting Corporation, CPB, and why, because their constituents really want this stuff.
Mm-hmm.
They don't want it taken away. It's why healthcare is eventually going to have to have something done, because the constituents don't want that to go away, and the politicians will at this point be held accountable for they don't want to be held accountable for the population losing things that they want.
It's we are no longer at a point in time where only rich white men who owned land could vote. And therefore, we were traveling by horseback and we needed to spend months and months and months to hear about things.
Yeah.
We have the information now. We have the ability to vote.
Yeah.
And the more and more that people realize, hey, your vote does actually matter. It's not just, it's not just the PBS special saying it to be saying it, that it's actually real. It really does matter. Hey, look at what these people in Nepal or any of these other places that have had all of their young people rise up and use an anime pirate flag to band together and change their political
Just saying.
everything. You know, if they can do it, we can do it.
You know, but that's why they want PBS gone too.
That is why they want it gone.
um,
On. I think we're done with that one for the most part.
are we?
I think you hit the most important part.
Okay,
So
well,
someone tried to pass this and they're like, no, we're not doing
no.
that.
Elmo is not the enemy of the people.
No. He can be very annoying, but he's not actually an enemy.
I miss a time when.
Yes. Barney might be an enemy.
I think I hate Barney more than I hate SpongeBob.
When my sister was little, that's all she would watch. And I was having a great deal of time, a very hard time working with fractions and doing math problems that involved an analog clock. I was just having, if you want to picture something, I was doing long division and fractions on the side of the fridge on butcher paper so that I had all the room I needed to sit there and slog through how to make this problem work.
Man, that is a great idea. That actually would have made my life easier as a kid trying to do math. I constantly did not have enough room to do my math problems.
No,
I did
I had
not have
magic.
enough paper to set it up. I didn't have enough room to, like...
Yeah.
I was constantly working with what felt like a limit on the amount of space I could allot each problem, which made it a lot harder to do.
Right. Have you ever seen like the tag end of a roll of newspaper?
Yeah, I think so.
You know, the great big rolls that they use to make the newspaper.
Yeah.
We got hold of a couple of those.
Ah.
So, you know, it was the quote unquote tag in. So there was only like an inch or so of paper left on the roll.
But that's enough
Which,
for a while.
oh God. Yeah. So, you know, we'd tear off a refrigerator high piece and tape it up, and I would sit there with my magic marker doing my math problems because anyway, the reward once I started actually getting the fractions and started getting the division and started getting the clock problems reliably. Not just perfectly, just I had to be reliably getting them correct, you know.
Yeah.
The reward was I got to take my homework sheets and some certain coloring book sheets out and do target practice on them with Dad.
And it was Barney, wasn't it?
Oh, yes.
Oh, F that purple dinosaur.
Exactly.
Nice. I like that. Man.
And you know, and it was 50 yards with a 22, you know, practicing on the purple dinosaur.
Nice.
Nice.
I don't even want to talk about. Math, like, okay. Yeah, I don't even want to. It was. Nah, my schooling years were not good. It
Because of
was.
how is the right word? How I was homeschooled, I did not get an actual diploma from anywhere. I went and got a GED. So I had individual scores for reading comprehension, writing, science, math, and I forget what the fifth thing was.
I couldn't. I
Right.
couldn't. My parents were not equipped to homeschool.
Yeah. A
See you later,
failing.
Kush Gang. See you later, Kingsways. Have a good one. Have a good Canna Market event on River Road in Charlottesville. Another place you can find them today, starting
Yep.
at
420?
4:20. Early admission at like 3, I think.
Something like that.
4.
But if you want more information, it's on Instagram.
It's on Instagram. Thank you very much for being here. We will be in touch about the gingerbread.
I will see about calling them after tomorrow's show.
Okay.
Because I'm taking a nap after today's show. But no,
You may want to start with a text explaining
well,
who
yes.
you are, stuff like that.
Yes.
But
Shoot,
yeah,
if I can keep everything in text, I will be fine.
probably.
But I was gonna say is a failing GED grade for math was 500. 700
Okay.
was huge. 500 was, if you got 500 or lower, pretty much you were failing that portion of the test.
Okay.
I got like a 532 for my math. But then reading comprehension and science, of all things, which you would expect. Science involves some sort of math. Both of those.
I mean,
Both
it
of those
does,
I
but
booked it.
science involves a lot more comprehension than just math.
Those I got perfect scores.
Oh, wow. If you want to actively do science, you have to be able to math.
Yes.
But if you just know about science, like to inactively science, to know science, you don't actually need to know math. I mean, you kind of do, because there are going to be things where it's like the more granular you get with science, the more math you need.
Yeah.
So when I took the SATs, it was still the old way of scoring. And I believe a 1600 was perfect back then.
Nice.
That's not what I got.
No, but
SATs. 1600 would have been perfect. It was, I think it was 800 and 800.
yeah.
And, anything above 10 was above average. Everything above like 1,000. My score My overall score was a 1320. My English score was a 670. So my math score was a 650. Just for those of you who wanted to do a little extra math there. I scored almost dead even. I mean, 20 points, a 20-point difference is like nothing. You know, it's like a 20 point difference is almost like not even a full question in each category. And it was that moment that I realized I wasn't just like interested in math. I was actually kind of good at it. And maybe I wasn't as destined for a life of language as everybody had told me. And yet, here I am, not doing math and doing a lot of talking.
I mean, things happen.
Things happen. Although there was a time where I was doing trigonometry for profit. And there was a good portion of where was, you know, I wouldn't say a good portion. There were a few years there where I was doing trigonometry for profit. So
I would also note that there's a lot of correlation between math and music, and you do music.
True. And I do music by math. I don't do music by talent.
So it's less a case of you're not doing math, you're just not doing math in a standard way that involves writing it on a whiteboard.
Right. Or a sheet of paper or
a refrigerator or whatever.
A lot of my math is done internally. And I do contemplate math a lot in my daily life. And for fun. We're not playing D&D as often. So I'm not mathing for fun like that as much. But, yeah. All right, so on to this New Jersey article.
Yeah.
New Jersey High Court first in U.S. to ban shaken baby syndrome testimony.
Yeah.
Summary. In 2 cases, New Jersey top court says expert testimony unreliable. Shaken baby syndrome has come under scrutiny amid questions about the science. New Jersey court is the first to ban this evidence in shaken baby cases. I'm going to say shaky babin at some point.
Yes.
New Jersey's top court on Thursday became the first in the U.S. to prohibit prosecutors from presenting expert testimony that shaking a baby can, on its own, cause injuries severe enough to justify bringing child abuse charges. I feel like, I mean, there is a point at which I'm sure you can shake a baby enough to injure it. There has got to be.
There is.
Because there's a point where you can shake an adult enough to damage it. So, but, I mean, I also understand that shaken baby syndrome doesn't come anywhere close to that level of shakenness. Shakenness?
It takes less force to do the same amount of damage to an infant.
Right. Right. Although, when handling a baby, I mean, always be exceptionally careful. But they're also kind of made of rubber bands.
They can be. They can be.
Yeah, exactly. It's this really weird dichotomy of being the most fragile thing in the world and
Most resilient.
yeah, like, and it's, I mean, there's good reason for it evolutionarily.
Yes.
And that reason is because if babies weren't resilient, they wouldn't last.
Look at baby chicks.
Right.
They can walk and do all sorts of things that human babies cannot do, and they are exceptionally more fragile than a human baby.
But what happens is they come out, they get to a certain level of development a lot faster than a human baby. Human babies mature incredibly slowly and are incredibly helpless.
Mm-hmm.
For the first 40 years of their lives. Man, that's mean to my own generation.
I know.
Not quite. Actually, no, not quite my own generation. But man, that's still mean to, like,
Yeah.
yeah. So, so yeah. And I'm also aware that shaken baby syndrome has been used to target groups of people unfairly.
True. Specifically, dads.
Okay. So, like, I get that it's not, you know, this is my way of saying this is a nuanced and complex subject.
Yes, it is.
Yeah. The diagnosis of shaken baby syndrome or abusive head trauma has formed the basis of thousands of criminal child abuse cases since the 1970s. It is a leading cause of child abuse related deaths in children under 5, according to the U.S. Center for Disease Control and Prevention. But the science supporting the diagnosis has come under scrutiny in recent years, with newer research showing that the injuries could have other causes. In a 6-1 ruling, 6-1? No, wait. In a 6-1 ruling in it's not 6-7. In a 6-1 ruling in 2 criminal cases brought against fathers accused of abusing their infant sons by shaking them, the New Jersey Supreme Court said that prosecutors couldn't present expert testimony diagnosing the syndrome in the infants because it wasn't reliable. A spokesperson for the New Jersey Attorney General's office, which urged the court to admit the testimony, declined to correct.
Good morning, Maddie.
Impeccable. Impeccable, Maddie. What's shaking bacon?
Oh.
Said Michael J. Fox to his breakfast cereal.
Yeah? Yeah.
I didn't mean breakfast cereal. I meant breakfast platter.
That too.
I'm going to heck.
You go
I
right
don't
ahead.
feel good about that one, but man, I couldn't keep it down. I feel really
Why not?
bad about that one. If I could have texted that to Peanut Gallery, I would have.
Yes. Hey, Maddie, are you just now tuning in?
It's just awful, Trevor.
We know, but we live. We
But
live.
we live.
Okay. That makes me feel less terrible about laughing.
Okay. A spokesperson for the New Jersey Attorney General's office, which urged the court to admit the testimony, declined to comment. Daryl Neves and Michael Kifeli were each charged in 2017 in separate cases. The trial counts overseeing their cases each held that the testimony of the state's expert was not admissible. Those rulings were upheld at an intermediate appellate court before the state appealed to the New Jersey Supreme Court. A trial court dismissed the case against Neves, one of the fathers, in 2022. The case against Clefeli remains pending. The Constitution demands more than speculation dressed as scientific language. The New Jersey Public Defender's Office, which represented Neves, said in a statement. Philip Nettle, the attorney for Clefeli, somehow I feel like Clefeli got got at least one of Nettle's vowels.
I mean, they could have both fallen in a Scrabble bag and came out with the wrong name.
Yep. Philip Nettle, an attorney for Clefeli, said his client has steadfastly maintained his innocence and will take the ruling back to the trial court to request dismissal of the case against him. I have hope for Clefeli. I do. Cody Mason, managing attorney for appellate at the public defender's office, said his team hopes to use the ruling to challenge cases on appeal. For decades, pathologists, pediatricians, and courts have recognized a distinct set of internal head injuries from brain swelling, bleeding on the surface of the brain and behind the eyes, as proof of death by deliberate shaking, even in the absence of other overt signs of violence. In Thursday's ruling, the Supreme Court said in order to present the expert testimony, prosecutors need to show all the relevant medical and scientific communities generally supported a diagnosis of shaken baby syndrome without evidence of head trauma or impact. While the state showed that the diagnosis is supported by pediatricians, pediatric neurologists, and other medical specialities, there does not appear to be consensus from the biomedical engineering community or a test demonstrating the force from shaking could cause the injuries, the court said. You keep hearing the mice singing Cinderella.
I mean,
You
yeah,
know,
I'm sorry.
I get it, though. I get it.
It's either that or the Goonies, or they're being chased by the Fratellis, and it's like,
Oh, the
I'm gonna go with
Fratellis. That's
Cinderella
right.
instead.
Cinderella. Ma Fratelli, Ma Fratelli.
Yeah.
A biomechanical engineering study on whiplash from 1968 provided the foundation for the creation of the diagnosis, making the field's stance particularly important, the court said. The majority noted that prosecutors could present additional evidence of abuse to support their claims, and if the biomedical engineering community backed the idea that the syndrome can occur without external trauma to the child's head, then it could present that. Science is constantly evolving, so the door is not forever closed on making such a showing of reliability. Justice Fabiana Pierre-Louis wrote for the majority. Justice Rachel Wainier Apter dissented, warning that the court was wading too far into the science and allowing one scientific community to outweigh pediatricians, neurologists, and others who back the diagnosis. I feel like there could have been an Apter name for Justice Apter. The dissent felt, and there's something in the way the dissent's worded around wading too deep into the science.
Yeah.
And the thing is, if we don't let the science guide decision making, especially in medical situations, then the decisions we make, what are the decisions we make going to be based on? And is it possible that we base those decisions then on business and not science, on things other than the relevant fields?
Yeah.
So that's where that leaves me.
My knee-jerk reaction when reading the headline the very first time was, oh no.
All right. We're
near the bottom.
We're near the bottom.
Surprisingly.
We're running out of time, actually.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I'm glad they've acknowledged at least that they are still allowing the science to do and process.
I am glad too. I'm glad that the relevant body has deferred to science in this case.
Yeah. Well, you've got three things left total.
I'm skipping to the end.
All right, skip to the end.
And we'll take on the other two next week.
All right.
Most likely.
Eh.
If we have a show next week. I didn't think about that. But this is actually not funny at all, but something that has been on the mind of a lot of alternative Charlottesvillians for the past 13 years. Sage Smith went missing 13 years ago. I don't know if they ever found her body.
Not yet.
The assumption is that she is not, did not survive.
That's kind of the assumption. I mean, there is still the hope since nothing has been found that maybe there's a chance, but after 13 years, then it's kind of into beyond belief factor fiction territory for that hope.
Yeah.
Could happen, but
Yes. 19-year-old Sage Smith, we won't dead name her, went missing from Charlottesville in 2012 on Thursday, the 13th anniversary of her disappearance. On
yeah.
I missed a period there.
Yes.
On Thursday, the 13th anniversary of her disappearance, police revealed they'd found a person of interest in the case in Los Angeles.
Mm-hmm.
The police chief, Michael Caucus, spoke with reporters on Thursday at City Space on the pedestrian mall near 5th and Main Street, where Smith was last seen on November 20th, 2012. Either with or going to meet a man named Eric McFadden. Caucus said McFadden was the last known person to have been with Smith. Shortly after her disappearance, McFadden called a detective they believe from New York City and agreed to do an interview. He never showed, and his family reported him missing in 2019. Caucus said detectives recently got a lead that he might be in the Los Angeles area. He said that McFadden did voluntarily did an interview with detectives. Okay. Police know of other places McFadden has been in the past 13 years, but are not releasing that information. There is... Okay. There is a place to get in touch. Any information related to this case, contact Detective Kundif at 434-970-3373, or submit a tip to CPD, Charlottesville Police Department, at cpdtipscharlottesville.gov. I mean...
And,
it hurts for me to say go to the cops about stuff, but this is an important one.
Yeah. And if you notice with the pictures, it gives some of the names he's been using.
Yes. Frank Hargrave, Shiloh Mathis, Miles Bakari. Eric Taquan McFadden. Real downer to end on, but this is also the kind of thing that if anybody knows anything, this case has weighed on a lot of our souls for a long time. This has been a point of fear for the Charlottesville trans community. And the Charlottesville Black femme community. And I mean, even if it comes to a close, it won't fix the problem, but it will help settle some people's hearts and souls.
Yeah.
So yeah, we have not forgotten about Sage. I will admit that when you first mentioned it, I mean, that was kind of the first thing that popped into my head, but I wasn't gonna go, oh, was that the, because it's been so long that it's like, but that is the, well, that is the end of the show. We're going to end on a downer today, and I'm sorry, but it does fit with the gloomy and overcast conditions here in Virginia today. Thank you for joining us, everybody. Thank you, Kat. Thank you, Maddie Holmes. Thank you, Just Me Crystal. Thank you. Good night, everybody. Yeah. Thank you, Kush Gang. Thank you, all you lurkers. Much love to everybody. And now, stick around for the raid. Now is the time on the show when I say, as they say around here, 2 up, 2 down, VA, double deuces. We're out, y'all.
Looking at all the life, there were plants and birds and rocks and things. There was sand and hills and rings. The first thing I met was a fly with a buzz and the sky with no cloud. The heat was hot and the ground was dry, but the air was full of sound. Been through the desert on a horse with no name. It felt good to be out of the rain. In the desert you can remember your name, 'cause there ain't nobody for to give you no pain. La 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 la. After 2 days in the desert sun, my skin began to turn red. After 3 days in the desert fun, I was looking at a riverbed, and the only story that it told was a river that flowed. Made me sad to think